Hey there, toy collector friends and Star Wars fans alike. Welcome back to the channel. I am the time-travelling toy collector, and this is the Star Wars Return of the Jedi Star Wars The Black Series Force Spirits 3 set. Now I'm starting this video a little differently because the size of this box is quite hefty, because you do get these 3 Black Series figures inside. So this is the rear of the box, which I'm showing you just very quickly so I can swish it around to show you the main event, which I am going to open up. So as part of the 40th anniversary of Star Wars Return of the Jedi, we are getting this set of 3 Force Spirits, and they come together in this wonderful sort of box arrangement which holds all the figures together. And as you can see over here, this is what the figures look like, with their lovely sort of cloak that gives them that shimmering effect. It's very much in the aesthetic of the classic Star Wars toy range, for which I am a huge fan and hugely nostalgic for. So the 4 spirits, we get Anakin, Yoda and Obi-Wan Kenobi, and here we have them on display in that window. We've got the old-fashioned Kenner logo there. There's not that much else to really show you. There's along the top, there's the rest of the Black Series coming out as part of this. These figures are there. You've got Bib Fortuna, the Emperor, Paploo, the Stormtrooper and Chewbacca as well. But this will be focusing purely on these 3 figures, which I'm going to in a second take out of this box. I just wanted to start by showing you this, but because it's so big it doesn't fit in the usual review station, so I just needed to find somewhere where we could have a sort of uninterrupted quick look. So without further ado, I'll get them out of the box and we can look at them in close-up. Don't touch that dial. Okay, so here they are, freshly out of their bigger box, and now as they appear on their individual carded releases. Now, like many of you, I probably remember when these, when the original Star Wars action figure range was out there, and the joy of getting some of these back on the cards is just fantastic. Now, these I think were some of the figures that were announced at the Star Wars Celebration Europe, which took place in London in 2023, and certainly when I pre-ordered them back when that event took place. So there's some other pre-orders that will be on their way imminently, which I can't wait to receive. Now again, obviously our original Star Wars figures were much more around sort of this size, if we remember. They probably felt a lot bigger actually, and I'm reminded when I was looking at a couple of my originals recently that yeah, actually no, that is, they were sort of this size. So to get these, here we are now in the 21st century, seeing these figures being revisited with the level of care and love and artistry really, and engineering I suppose too, is so heartwarming. It's unbelievable. So we get this 3-pack celebrating the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi. We got this 3-pack of Force Ghosts, Force Spirits, and it's Obi-Wan, it's Yoda, and it's Anakin. Anakin, controversially or not, as depicted by Hayden Christensen from the prequel trilogy, because in the George Lucas retouching of the original trilogy, the Force Spirit of Anakin, which I think was played by an actor called Sebastian Stan, not the same Sebastian Stan known from many of the Marvel films now, but different Sebastian Stan. I may have got the name wrong, but so correct me please in the comments below. But we have that Force Ghost replaced by young Anakin, and that's how we see him here. Whether that was the right decision or not by Hasbro and Kenner for this set can be a debate for another time, or you're probably having it with somebody else already. But that's great, I'm all for that. So we have these, again, the Black Series, but I'm going to start by looking at each of them individually and then a couple of overall comments. The detailing is, of course, excellent. We're now in an age where action figures are more like models. masterpiece models, and there's no exception here. What I really like, and I think I'm right in saying they don't come with, I think with the exception of Yoda, they don't come with any accessories. Yoda has his walking stick. Why he needs that as a force spirit, I don't know, but he comes with it. But the primary additional elements of these figures is the cloaking. So I'm not sure if you can, how well it comes over on the camera, but there's a mesh cloak across each of the figures, which gives a very powerful and impressive shimmer, sort of a purpley, deep purple sort of shimmer that recaptures, and you can sort of see it on the card here, that sense of unearthly etherealness that accompanied their appearance. And they also have done a really interesting step. So whereas the majority is the sort of traditional Jedi robes, etc., certainly for Obi-Wan Kenobi here, if you can see, there is hands and the forearms and the forearm parts of his tunic. Same, I'm trying to tilt it so you can see as best you can. Same with his feet, the legs, the lower part of the tunic there are also translucent. They're translucent plastic in this sort of bluish, purplish hue. So it actually gives the figure that sense of, almost like we've seen with some of the holographic stuff, some holographic figures, similar approach to that. But it really blends nicely, and when the light catches it in just the right way, and I hope you can see that to some extent there, it really does give it that, I know I've just said it, but that ethereal, unworldly glow and shimmer effect that really works for these figures. I think it's excellent, and I know we've seen some Force Ghosts before, but I think the way they've done this is really good. So I'll just twist him around a bit to the side so you can get a bit of a clearer look at where some of that translucency comes in. Now, obviously, I've not taken them out of the bubble wrap yet. The bubble packaging yet. And I say yet because I'm undecided as to whether or not I'm going to. Here we are with some of the figures in this particular range. So you've got the 3 Force Ghosts and these 3 other figures, which is Chewbacca, the Emperor, and the Stormtrooper, and the General celebrating the 40th anniversary with these black series figures. And before I move on to the next 2, this is really one of my key problems, is that I really wish, and I know it's me, because I love the packaging, I love the tribute to the original, all of that, great. But I really wish that I almost really wish, I'm split on it, were in the other sort of black series packaging, you know, the boxes, because then you can take them out. The problem I have, from a collecting point of view, but not a collector that's so rigid that I wouldn't want to actually handle these figures, is that the only way to access the figure is to damage the card. Now, I might look at getting some sort of craft knife that will give me some more accurate and forensic accuracy around opening some of these, so I can maybe reseal them again. But that's what worries me, because I know from days of old, when you take these off, the picture comes, everything comes, it's ruined it. And I don't want to do that to this collection. Not least because, you know, it isn't a cheap collection. These things are pricey. So that's really one of my key concerns about this, is because of the new opting for this particular mechanism for presentation of the figures, which, as I say, I'm all for. The downside for me is you can't easily access the figures without damaging the packaging, which is of course very true of the original figures. So from that point of view, it's experience accurate, as I knocked the camera over. So anyway, let me pop Obi-Wan out of the way. We'll come on to little Yoda. Hopefully you can see little Yoda. Everything again is the same for the packaging. The arrangements on the back, there's nothing particularly different or noteworthy on the back here. But again, I'll go straight to a sort of side view of little Yoda levitating as best I can. And you can see there, the same is true with that translucent element of the hands and the feet with Yoda. He's handily come with a bicycle lock around his neck, which is very, very useful for when he's riding his Force Spirit bicycle. But again, perhaps it's not as apparent in Yoda's tunic, because actually it isn't that apparent. You can still sort of see the translucent elements of his body through it. There's more of a translucent wash to his face, really. It looks like, to me anyway, to give it that ethereal quality. But the cloak itself is a slightly more golden, more sort of copper bronze effect, and isn't really showing us so much of that sort of deep purple that's apparent in both Obi-Wan and Anakin's figures. And also, I don't know why we have not been given a belt. I think this figure, joking aside about the bicycle lock around his neck, I think it would benefit from just a little something. I mean, it probably would compromise where his legs joints are, which are in there, which again we can't unless I actually take him out of the packaging, as discussed. I can't tell you 100% for certain how that would compromise it, but I just think we've got this character here on the card, and I think he would really benefit from having a belt around there. He comes with the accessory of the walking stick, which again I question the validity of the walking stick when he's a spirit ghost, a Force ghost rather, but I'd have traded that in for a belt just to make him neat and tidy, to be perfectly honest. And I'm a lot of the stuff that Hasbro are doing now is about the plastic free or significantly reduced products or packaging, which I think is great. I'm not entirely sure why we've been given this massive shell on the thing. We could have had it much reduced, just down to there, to save a bit of plastic. So I'm not too sure why they've done that, unless it's to do with the way it's packaged in with the other three figures. But even then, if they'd still only come as far as they could against the side there. So that doesn't make sense to me. So that's just me being probably unfairly fickle. But yeah, that's Yoda as a Force spirit self. And again, I think the face detailing, as with Obi-Wan, very, very good. Very, very accurate to the character. So thank you, Yoda. We'll bring you out and pop you here. And then last but by no means least, we have the sort of slightly more controversial inclusion, which is Anakin as portrayed by Hayden Christensen, as opposed to the original actor in the original 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi. So it's a bit of a deviation. So we're celebrating the 40th of Return of the Jedi, but we're featuring a figure that isn't as it appeared in the original. I'll let the discussion rage about that one. So again, with this one, everything on the packaging remains the same. I've just noticed we've got a lip here. I'm wondering if there's a sneaky way I might be able to open that up without it damaging the packaging. I might investigate that a bit more. I'll let you know if I find out. So that's the same across the set. So here we have Anakin's figure. Again, we see him as he appeared in the re-release of the 40th of the Return of the Jedi. But yeah, coming to the figure itself, again, you can see, I hope you can see, the hands, the forearms, and the feet, and the sort of the boots and the feet. So sideways seems to be the best way to get this, and from below, you can really see that translucent effect that they're using to really good effect, I think, on these figures. And again, that purple shimmer of the robes really works. I think it works particularly well on Anakin. I think the face sculpt is pretty good. The hair sculpt's probably better than the face sculpt, if I'm honest, but I think it's pretty good. And I really love the colour choice. I know it's not sort of accurate to the character, but there's a sort of lovely colour choice around the under tunic that he's got there. and it really does look excellent. And I think all of the figures look excellent. I'm really thrilled to have sort of started re-engaging with these Star Wars figures, particularly these Black Series figures. I know you've also got the sort of retro and the vintage collection, all of which are outstanding quality, because they certainly appear to be, in my experience so far. I imagine individual people's mileages may vary slightly. Let me just try and put them in there so you can get them all in shot before we close up the video. But I think this is a lovely 3-pack. I mean, taking this figure for what it's for, you know, in the spirit, if you excuse the pun, in which it's intended, I think it's a lovely tribute to the 40th anniversary. I know we've got more to come. I think as the quality of the Black Series figures never cease really to impress me, and this is the same here. I think we've got 3 really good figures. I do have my collector versus player battle with wanting to get them out of the packaging but have the freedom to return them to the packaging, which I think on a design like this is compromised. Yes, it's what we used to contend with as children, but you know, when we were children, they were this size, and they were about £1.70 to buy. This set is most definitely not £1.70 to buy, and that's in the primary market. And when this starts to shift over to the secondary market, we'll only see the prices for these guys escalating. So bear that in mind. I do, of course, sometimes subscribe to so that's why I've bought 2 philosophy. I haven't with this. I haven't with this set, so I've only got the one of each. Whether or not I pick up a second set with the intention of opening it, that is cleaner from my point of view. However, it's also expensive, and I think it starts to detract from the fun element of Star Wars figures. You know, it's the 40th anniversary. We want to have fun with these figures, but equally I want to preserve that heritage, particularly all the trouble and love that's gone into developing this look. So yeah, I'm a bit conflicted, but that's my problem, not yours. And if you're in the position to pick up 2 sets, then you probably would make the sensible choice and do that. I will wrestle with what I'm going to do next, and we'll take it from there. But personally, I just wanted to sort of, they've only just arrived, so I wanted to get them out so you could have a look at them, because I think they are really nice. And if you are wondering whether or not it's worth trying to get your hands on these figures, hopefully this video has given you a chance to look at them quite closely. So thank you for spending the last 17 or 18 minutes with me looking at these. I'll try and put a couple of product shots at the end as usual for you. If you found it useful and informative, whether it's to buy them or not to buy them, then either way, please like the video. It sends a really positive message to me and really helps the channel. And similarly, whilst you're there, why not click on the subscribe button so that you never miss a future video, which could be about more Star Wars products. It could be Transformers, Doctor Who, Star Trek, Battlestar Galactica, G.I. Joe, goodness me, it could be anything. And I'd love to have you along for the ride. So, that small click for you is a massive click for me. So do hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and again, please do like the video. I've been the Time Travelling Toy Collector. You have been a fantastic audience, and this has been the Hasbro 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi Force Spirits 3-pack with Anakin, Yoda and Obi-Wan Kenobi, brought to you in all their vintage-esque glory. So hopefully I'll see you in a future video. This is something I'm now going to decide where I'm going to display or play or what I'm going to do with it. But thanks for sticking around for the duration. And it just remains for me to say that a thing or things of beauty really are a toy forever. Bye-bye for now.